السلفي لابد أن يكون لغويا. سلفي غير لغوي تعبان.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضاه. This is lesson 4 of the series, The Basics of Arabic Reading and Writing. In this lesson, we are going to learn 4 new letters. But before that, let's quickly recap what we've learned so far. So far, we've learnt 11 letters. I'm going to put these letters on the board and I want you to say them correctly.
Ha, Tha, Kha, Alif, Zay, Dal, Ra, Ta, Zal, Jim, Ba.
What letter is this?
Tha,
Is this heavy or light?
light.
What letter is this?
Ha,
Heavy or light?
light.
What letter is this?
Ta,
Heavy or light?
light.
What letter is this?
Ra,
Heavy or light?
heavy.
Always heavy or sometimes heavy?
Sometimes heavy.
What letter is this?
Jim,
Is this heavy or light?
light.
Is it written on top of the line or does it go under the line?
It goes under the line.
What letter is this?
Dal,
Heavy or light?
light.
What letter is this?
Ba,
Heavy or light?
light.
Does it go under the line or does it stay on top of the line?
Stays on top of the line.
What letter is this?
Alif,
What letter is this?
Zay,
What letter is this?
Zay.
Revising and completing the homework is very, very important. Otherwise, we're going to forget everything that we've learnt, which means we have to start all the way from the beginning, and that means we've wasted all of this time. So we don't want that to happen. طيب, let's begin today's class. We said that in today's class, we're going to learn 4 new letters. The first of these 4 new letters is sheen. Sheen, which sounds very much like the English S. Slithering snake or slimy snail. Sounds the same as the English S. Okay, let's say this 5 times. Sheen,
Seen,
sheen,
seen,
sheen,
seen,
sheen,
seen,
sheen.
seen.
In terms of writing, we're going to write it in 3 steps. The first step is a straight line, and then we're going to curve it and make it slanted slightly. Yeah, it's like a V, but it's not straight. So this is not going to be triangular, it's going to be slightly curved, yeah? Slightly curved. And this line is shorter than the first line. So it's a V, instead of sitting upright, it's slanted. A slanted V. So straight line, curved. We touch the line and then we curve it. And then the slanted line that comes off this is shorter than the first line that we began with. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is we're going to do a curve. Like a round semicircle. Yeah, semicircle. That's number 2. And the opening of this is longer or wider than the opening here. So this is wider than this. So this looks like a semicircle. That's number 2, step number 2. So step number 1 was a slanted V. Step number 2 was this. And step number 3 is gonna go under the line. And it's gonna look like the head of a cup. It's gonna look like the head of a cup like this. So we're gonna go like round here, and then we're gonna do this. And the line is gonna stop below this. So this is slightly shorter than this. So we go like this. It looks like the head of a cup. If I was to do this, doesn't that look like a cup? Yeah, it looks like a cup. So it looks like the head of a cup. This is seen, and this is step number 3. And this shape here, we're going to use it for all of the letters that we're taking today. All of the 4 letters that we're taking today is going to have this shape. So perfecting this shape is important. So the next letter, which is the twin of sheen, looks exactly the same except that there's 3 dots on top. This letter is called sheen. It makes the same sound as when you tell someone to shush. When you tell someone to shush, what do you say? Shh, shh, shh. That's the same sound as sheen, sheen. Okay, let's say it 5 times. Sheen,
Sheen.
sheen,
Sheen.
sheen,
Sheen.
sheen,
Sheen.
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 Writing sheen is exactly the same as seen. So 3 steps. Step number 1, step number 2, and then step number 3. But remember, you need to add the dots. And when adding the dots, it's the same as ta. You start off with a ta. Remember ta? And then to get to tha, we add a dot on top. Remember, it's like a triangle, yeah? That's how we do sheen. طيب. So these are the first 2 letters we're taking today. And both of these letters are light letters. They are light letters. Seen, sheen, sa, sha, light letters. The next letter we're taking today is sad. Sad. Sad comes from the same place as seen. It comes from the same place as seen. So they share the same articulation point. If you say seen, you hear this whistling sound. And the same for sad. You hear a whistling sound. Both of them have this whistling sound. But the most noticeable difference between the 2 letters is that sad is a heavy letter. Sa, sa, saw, saw, sa, saw. In terms of writing the sad, we're going to take it in 2 steps. The first step is a line that goes like this. Come to and then we do this. Yeah? So we do this, and then we do this. If you look at this, the shape inside here, it looks like a eye. It looks like an eye. The shape inside here looks like an eye. But we have this line that comes like this. So we start off like this, then we go like this, then this goes straight on the line. So this is step number 1. We do this. Step number 1. Step number 2 is the same shape as the step number 3 in seen and sheen, where we do that, the cup shape. And it goes lower than this. This is higher than this, yeah? So that cup shape that we had previously in the last step of seen and sheen. So this is sad. 2 steps. Step number 1, and then step number 2. The next letter, and this is the final letter we're taking today, is the twin of sad. The twin of sad, because it looks exactly the same as sad, except that the only difference is the extra dot. There's a dot on top. This letter is a very, very rare letter. It's not found in many languages. In fact, it's only commonly used in the Arabic language. It's commonly used in the Arabic language, which is why the Arabic language is known as Lughatul Dad. Another name for the Arabic language, Al-Lughatul Arabiya, is called Lughatul Dad, the language of Dad, this letter. And this letter is one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult letter to pronounce. And it comes from the side of the tongue. It comes from the side of the tongue. So imagine this is the tongue. This is the tip. This is the surface. And this is the side of the tongue. I'll draw it on the board. So let's imagine that this is the tongue. This is the tip of the tongue. The side of the tongue is here. This is the side of the tongue. So this is the right side of the tongue. Dad comes from the right side of the tongue when it's placed up against the upper molars. So imagine this is my mouth. My mouth, yeah? Aerial view of the mouth. This is the front teeth, and these are the molars here. So the canine is here, the canine is here, and these are the molars. So what happens is the tongue, the side of the tongue, and touches the upper interior molars. The upper interior molars, like this. Yeah, it goes like this. Obviously, this part, you're going to be touching all of this, but the main pressure is going to be on the side here. Yeah? This is where the dad comes from. So you're blocking off the air. Yeah, you're blocking off the air. طيب. There's 3 ways of pronouncing the dad. This is the most common way. You use the right side of your tongue up against the right upper interior of your molars. That's one way. The second way is you could use the other side of your tongue, the left side of your tongue. This is less common. So you use the left side of your tongue touching the upper left side of your interior. So the same thing but the opposite side. Like this. This is less common, but some people might find it easier. So if it's easier for you, you can do this. That's the second way. The third way is to open up the tongue so that both sides of the tongue are touching the upper molars, right and left at the same time. So like this. Bod. So you have 3 ways of saying it. Using the right side, using the left side, or using both sides at the same time. Bod. Let's say it 5 times. Bod.
Bod.
And this is a heavy letter, remember. This is a heavy letter. Sad and Dad are both heavy letters. Sheen and Sheen are light letters. We're going to add this into our notebook, inshallah. But let's say it 5 times. Bod.
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 In terms of writing, it's exactly the same as Sad. 2 steps. Step number 1. And then step number 2. But we need to add a dot. This is what separates it from Sad. The addition of the dot. We take the dot off, it becomes Sad. We add the dot, it becomes Dad. Okay, let's say all of these letters together. Sheen.
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 Sad.
Sod.
Bod.
Bod.
Sheen.
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 Sad.
Sod.
Bod.
Bod.
Okay, what letter is this?
Sheen.
What letter is this?
Bod.
What letter is this?
Sod.
What letter is this?
Sheen.
Is this a heavy letter or light letter?
Light letter.
Is this a heavy letter or light letter?
Heavy letter.
Heavy. Saw, heavy. Seen, light. طيب, if you remember, we made this list and we said we're going to add as we go along. So today we've taken 4 new letters and all of them are from the drop-down letters. Sheen, Sheen, Sad, and Dad. Heavy letters, we've added Sad and Dad. We mentioned that Sad and Dad are from the heavy letters, so we've added them to the list. Sad and Dad. So far we have 3 heavy letters. Kha, Sad, Dad. And these 7 letters are always heavy, which is why Ra is not here. Ra is pronounced heavy, but it's not here because sometimes it's heavy and sometimes it's light. So we're not going to add it to this list. طيب, so I want you to do that. Add those letters to your list. So this is what we have for this lesson. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.